Well, it's kind of a slightly mixed performance in terms of the Asian markets so far. However, in terms of the US stocks did rally on Friday, driving the S&P 500 to a near record closing high after factory data and new home sales underscored a booming economy, while the Megacap stocks did rise in anticipation of a strong earnings report. Earnings take center stage this week, with 40% of the S&P 500's market cap likely to report earnings between Tuesday and Thursday, including the tech and heavyweights like Microsoft, Google parent Alphabet, Apple, as well as Facebook. The yield on the 10-year Treasury did rise 2 bips to 1.5%. Dow was up 0.6% to close at 34,043, while the S&P and Nasdaq were up close to around 1.1% and 1.4% respectively. If you look at the European stocks did mark their first weekly loss in 8 on Friday, as a surge in global COVID cases offset the optimism about a strong earnings season. The pan-European stock 600 did slip 0.2% and was on course for a 0.8% weekly drop. Defensive plays such as the healthcare sector and consumer stocks were among the biggest decliners, while surging commodity prices did lift the miners. If you look at the global investors, they did remain slightly nervous after the resurgence of COVID cases in Asia and stretched valuations in part in US markets. European stocks have so far enjoyed strong gains this year as COVID-19 vaccination drive and stimulus programs have lifted hopes of a strong economic rebound. About 10% of STOXX 600 companies have reported earnings so far, and 67% of them have topped profit expectations according to Refinitiv data. DAX and CAC were down 0.3% and 0.1% respectively, while FTSE was flat. Speaking about the Asian markets, well, the Asian markets have been slightly mixed. On Monday morning, Nikkei was down close to around 0.3%, while the Australian markets were flat. Kospi index was up by nearly around 0.3% in trade. Stocks in Asia did drift on Monday opening as investors look for clues on the economic recovery in a big earnings week and a Federal Reserve meeting as well. Benchmarks fluctuated in Japan and Australia and edged higher in South Korea. US futures were little changed after most major groups in the S&P advanced on Friday. If you look at the oil prices, well, the WTI crude did rise 1.2% to $62 a barrel on hopes of a fuel demand recovery in the United States and Europe as economic growth picks up and lockdowns ease. Gold was flat at $1778 an ounce. Weakness in the US dollar, a fall in the 10-year US Treasury yield, and the slow pace of vaccination program by countries across the globe have led to higher interest in safe haven assets like gold.